After crisscrossing the country and visiting 11 racetracks, the Menards Chevy Show needs a break. And where better to go than Florida? Today, we're soaking up the best in speed and style that the Sunshine State has to offer at the world-famous Ace Cafe Orlando. This is the Menards Chevy Show, where we tour the country to find the finest racetracks and rides that are part of the Bowtie breed. Welcome to the Menards Chevy Show in beautiful downtown Orlando, Florida. You know, we've been at racetracks all across the country throughout the year, but for our final show, we thought we'd do something a little bit different. So this week, we're hanging out at Ace Cafe Orlando. We're going to see all kinds of beautiful Chevys, some that are just going to knock your socks off. And what do you say? We get to our very first award. Brian Freeman brought his 1959 Impala out to the show today, and it was impressive enough to be declared the winner of the Rock Auto Restored Award.
This is a car I always liked as a child, even had a die cast, and we finally found one for sale in Florida that wasn't in California. It was only in Clearwater, so we went to Clearwater. The gentleman had it on consignment, he'd restored it, sold it to us, so we just drove it. The only thing I did to it, being in Florida, was put AC in it, because it gets real hot in there with big windows, vinyl seats. So you could get AC in 59, it didn't come with that. But pretty much, apart from the color, it's how it came from the factory.
Tell us a little bit about the color combination and what this car was like.
Okay, the original color was a greeny gray metallic, the color of the dashboard, but it was a two-tone car. Originally from the factory, the trunk lid, etc., was painted white to match. I don't like that, so I'm glad he didn't do it that way. But it's got the original motor, two-speed power glide. The motor's been changed slightly, different carburetor because it runs better.
Well, you did mention a little bit of change to the engine. Tell us about the combination.
Okay, the engine is a 283, comes with a two-speed cast-iron power glide, which is just great, two-speed. You don't need 8 speeds, right? It's got a different manifold and a 4-barrel on it as opposed to a 2-barrel, so it makes it run a little sweeter. But it still has the original generator, power steering, 2-speed wipers, all of that kind of stuff. The electrics are the same as they came from the factory.
Do you have any plans for the vehicle to make any changes in the future?
Well, I think with the idea of putting disc brakes on it, but that's very complex because you've got to change too many things. So other than maintaining it how it is and keeping it running and fixing stuff that needs fixing occasionally, it'll be as it is. It'll never be sold. The children don't want us to sell it, so someone's going to inherit it, and I hope they take care of it when they do.
Congratulations to Brian Freeman and his 1959 Impala on capturing the Rock Auto Restored Award here today at Ace Cafe Orlando. There are plenty of so-called big cars on display at today's show, and after all, back in the day, weren't most cars pretty huge? For some people, bigger is definitely better, and that belief is obvious when you check out our first producer's pick.
I'm a big fan of the Impalas. I've had a few in my lifetime, and I was up to 69, so that's why I chose this car. And as you can see, I'm the only 69 Impala here. Well, in 1969, you had two options. You had a sport roof or a custom coupe. And the custom coupe has the concave window in the back, which just makes it a little different from the sport roof.
You know, and it's so nice to see somebody take one of these and do everything that you've done. Tell us about that, because it almost looks like nothing's been untouched.
Well, that is correct. When I bought the car, it was pretty much stock. I put a 383 stroker, turbo 400, an Eaton 12-volt posi. I put the Ride-Tech air ride suspension, 4-wheel disc brakes. All the lights have been replaced with LEDs, from the headlights to the turn signals to the interior. I try to hide them so you just see the glow, and at nighttime it really looks sharp.
And I love the way you've carried everything through, right through the trunk.
Yes, ma'am. You have the stereo back there, you have the air ride system. I did the carpeting, all the panels, everything done by myself. It's been a learning experience.
Doing a Menards Chevy Show from someplace other than a racetrack is a pleasant change, and a quick stroll around the place shows that this downtown Orlando attraction is tailored for gearheads. George, tell us all about Ace Cafe Orlando.
Ace Cafe Orlando is based off the Ace Cafe in London from 1938, and it's a gathering place for people with a real passion for cars, bikes, and rock and roll. It's just a great place to really enjoy cars, and this is the best car show we've ever had here. And there's also bike events here. Every day there's something at Ace Cafe.
We're only just getting started with the Menards Chevy Show from Ace Cafe Orlando, and when we come back, we're going to supercharge things with a bundle of blowers. We'll be back in a moment.
The Menards Chevy Show is being brought to you by Z-Max, the one product for your engine, transmission, and fuel system. Evapor-Rust, super safe rust remover. Steel Rubber Products, quality crafted rubber parts and weather stripping. And by Dustless Blasting, it's the future of surface preparation.
Welcome back to the Menards Chevy Show, coming to you from Ace Cafe Orlando in beautiful downtown Orlando, Florida. Talk about beautiful. How about superchargers as far as the eye can see? You know, there's a car club that put all this together and brought in all these folks. What do you say we find out more about them?
Gentlemen, start your engine!
We're pretty much long-term friends. We've been around, and kind of the cars brought us together. We all had different cars previous, and we continued to grow with our blower cars. And we sort of morphed into everybody having a blower car with big and uglies on it. And we drive them on the street. We don't really go to the drag strip. We enjoy them on the street. We enjoy going to the car shows, and it's fun being the center of attention sometimes, you know, but we have a great group of guys that get along. There's no drama in our group, and we just enjoy each other. We enjoy each other's cars, and we love everybody's cars. I mean, we like every car. If you want to ride with us, you can ride with us. You want one of our shirts, we're going to give you a shirt. It's just all part of having fun with the cars.
Up next is the Duracell Crank It with the Copper Top Award, and Frank Camaro Canzonieri's ride fits perfectly with his Supercharged segment. Always an eye catcher for me, and that's when you've got the great big blower sticking out of the hood. And Frank, this 67 Camaro, love it blown. Tell me about it.
It's got a 598 with a 1471 blower. It's got a baby seat in the back with a nitrous purge button for the little ones.
What was this car like when you first got it?
It was nice. It had a smaller engine with a blower. We've changed quite a bit, changed the motor, transmission, radiator, a lot of stuff we've changed, wheels, tires. The seats and the paint are about the only thing that's still original.
Always a Camaro fan or always a blower fan?
Always a Camaro fan. I went to the speed shop to buy a part for my first car, which I kept for many years. And I walked in the door and this thing was sitting in there. And 67's the year I was born, and the RS is what I always loved. The blower was just a bonus. Made a bunch of friends, met my wife through this car, through a friend. It's been a big part of my life for the last 15 years. Recently, we got to help a little boy named Nate. He's 12, he's got cancer. And the truck right over there, we did a little burnout contest. And then St. Cloud, the city of St. Cloud did a fundraiser, invited me and the truck there to do a burnout contest downtown St. Cloud. It was awesome. And just found out last week Nate is actually cancer-free at the moment. And it was just an awesome, awesome thing.
Congratulations to Frank Canzonieri and his potent 67 Camaro for capturing the Duracell Crank It with a Copper Top Award here at Ace Cafe. You know, we get an opportunity to come to a lot of really cool places for the Menards Chevy Show, but I'm going to have to say one of the coolest is downtown Orlando because there's so much going on, Thomas.
There is. We appreciate that. And we're ecstatic to have Ace Cafe Orlando, the very first Ace Cafe in North America, to choose downtown Orlando as a site. We think the brand fits in perfectly with our culture. We've got more than 200 restaurants, bars, and nightclubs in Orlando, so a lot of food and beverage and entertainment. But also, we had more than 1,100 special events here last year. So having special events like Menards in downtown is what we do. We have everything from the Pro Bowl to NCAA to WrestleMania. So this fits right in with downtown Orlando's culture.
And we also, when we think Florida, we think water, and you guys have the lakes around and so much more.
Lots of lakes, lots of water. It is Florida. The weather couldn't be any better. What is it, 70 some odd degrees today?
You know, lots of things to do during the day, but it's just beautiful here at night as well.
Our nighttime economy in downtown Orlando is fairly legendary. If you haven't experienced downtown Orlando after 11 at night, you owe it to yourself at least one time. We typically have between 20 and 35,000 customers in the streets at night, and so it's a giant party.
In keeping with our Camaro theme, it's time now to check out this week's Gunk Tough and Trusted Award winner, Ed Wilson, and his 1992 Z28. You know, we see a lot of cars here at the Menards Chevy Show that have been completely restored, but how about those that are from 92 that haven't? And Ed, that's what you have with your 92 Camaro Z28 convertible. Why this car?
Well, I always loved Camaros, always loved hot rods. I found this car 15 years ago, had 7,000 original miles, was brand new. I bought it, People said, hey, you need to put it in garage, keep the miles low. I drive it, it's got 63,000 miles, and it's a wonderful driver.
You know, and you haven't really had to do a whole lot to it.
No, I had it repainted a year ago because of door dings and daughters that scratched it sitting on it. Other than that, it's all original.
So why a convertible?
I take my hat off, blows both my hairs out of place, I look good. In fact, I just bought a new 2SS Camaro convertible. The technology difference in 25 years is amazing.
But I see what car you brought out today.
That's correct. Love my old one.
Do you have any plans for this vehicle?
Unfortunately, I'm probably going to sell it, put it on eBay, because I have a two-car garage, and my wife Patty said her new SUV's not going to sit in the driveway.
And you're not going to leave this one sit outside, are you?
No, I won't. I'll sell it to somebody to take good care of it.
Congrats to Ed Wilson and his 92 Z28 for being honored with the Gunk Tough and Trusted Award here at Ace Cafe Orlando. We've barely scratched the surface of all the impressive machinery on hand here today, and when the Menards Chevy Show returns in a moment, we'll be turning our attention to trucks. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Menards Chevy Show, coming to you from beautiful downtown Orlando, Florida, and the Ace Cafe. You know, there's lots of great vehicles like trucks. They're everywhere. We've got lifted trucks. We have trucks that look like they're still back in 1960. And then you have some that people have really customized. But the ones that really catch our eye is like our next award winner. The LMC Truck Life Award is meant to honor long-lasting and hard-working Chevy trucks. And our winner today in Orlando is Tom Friedrich and his C10 Fleetside. There are a lot of stories when you come to a car show like this, and that's one of the interesting things to learn about this truck. It's got a lot of stories. First, start off with how you found it.
Actually, we were camping over on the West Coast, and I just happened to see it on the side of the road, and I don't know, we said, hey, let's pull over and check it out, and then we ended up coming back the next weekend, and then we just jumped in it and brought it back up to Popka, Florida, where we live, and oh God, that was back in probably '06. And we finally got it all put back together in 2015 for the Turkey Rod Run.
So it was really cool to have that project with your sons.
Yep. No, it was. It wasn't, and you know, it was always a lot of, you know, I'm older, get them under the truck, and I'll just direct them what they needed to do. So, yeah, and then of course my wife, she was always come out to the garage, and I make her either hold something, lift something, or go find me something. So,
this truck, as you were going through it, you were like figuring out, I need this trim, I need this, I need whatever. All of a sudden you thought your measuring tape was wrong.
Well, it actually started when I bought the kit to put the rear bumper on it, and I said, well, who's cut the frame? Why doesn't the rear bumper brackets and everything don't fit? So I called an authority on the trucks, and he said that no, I had a rare 65. He said it came right from the dealership with a camper installed on it, and when you look in the bed, you can actually see these welds, and they're really visible. So you could tell they would just say, hey, I just dropped the camper in here, no one's gonna see it, because that one come from a dealership, so you know what, that's such a rough weld like that. And I went from the kit to just getting some maple tongue and groove, and we sort of rolled from there.
So putting a truck together like this, obviously you need parts.
Oh yeah, I bought a ton of parts from LMC, and the other cool part about LMC and their catalogs is they will actually lay out every little piece as you see the whole assembly, so you would know, oh, you need this piece, you need these washers, you need this bolt, and you can see exactly how the whole thing's assembled, if it's for the brakes, if it's for whatever. So yeah, there's a lot of parts here from LMC.
Picking that LMC winner was pretty tough, and there are a wide variety of impressive trucks all around the show. But there was one truck that really caught our attention because of its backstory. And when you find a sweet ride like this 3100, man, I'm telling you, this is gorgeous.
Thank you so much. And, we have a lot of fun with a lot of parades and car shows like this. A lot of fun.
How long have you had this truck?
We've only had it 3 years. We found it in North Carolina, had it shipped down here. It was already painted. We had to do a lot of engine compartment work and interior work, but I'm not a painter, so we wanted to find one that was already painted. We went for the Americana nostalgic feel and look, because that's what we wanted. We want to have a stock truck and try to recreate that memory of the 1950s.
What was the hardest thing about putting together on this truck?
Washing and waxing. Yeah, just probably assembling the engine compartment, because we had to rebuild the head. We had to have the valve job done to the head, and just the painting and keeping overspray off the rest of the truck that was already painted.
How much fun is it to drive it on the column like that?
It's a lot of fun. 3-speed on a tree. I've driven manual transmissions before, but I've never had one 3 on the tree. So it took some practice and some learning and some teaching, of course, but it's a lot of fun. Kind of difficult on the hills, but it's a good time.
So this truck is actually pretty special.
It is. It's a numbers matching truck. So it has the original valve train, running gear, transmission back to the rear end that it was assembled in Missouri. So it's all the original parts that it had in it when it came off the showroom floor.
Any other plans for this truck?
We're going to redo the bed, the bottom of the bed. We did the bed rails about 1.5 years ago. So now we're going to do the bed to match the bed rails that we did about a year and a half ago.
The Moonshine Sweet Tea Sweet Ride Award is designed to honor the unique or unusual. And here today, there is no doubt that Sean Puz and his 2016 Rat Rod are deserving winners. A whole lot of fun in one big package. And this is just, I mean, every place I look, I'm finding something cool. Tell me about your idea for this Rat Rod.
Oh, thank you. I just wanted to go my whole own direction with the car. It's all handmade. I started with a sketch, started getting some sheet metal, cut it, welded it, and this is what it turned out to be.
I mean, every place you're looking, you're seeing all different things, and you've used wrenches, you've used camshafts for bumpers. I mean, this is just so cool.
Thanks. That is part of being a rat rod. There is no rules, and whatever you do is whatever you do. There's a lot of creativity, a lot of expression. I'm just so happy that rat rods, you can do this legally, I guess,
Well, let's talk a little bit about the Chevy part that we see right up front.
Okay, that's 454 Chevy engine. It's worked up very well, 600 horsepower. It's backed up with a 4L80E electronic transmission. It's all GM drivetrain.
What are some of your favorite things on this vehicle?
I kind of have to say the whole thing, since it's my design and it's all handmade, the frame, the axle, the cab. I think just the whole thing in general, it's exactly what I wanted. Why not? That's a beer keg. We stuck that in the old trunk, so I have some junk in my trunk. And I used the beer barrel for fuel. So
you do have a little bit of a theme going on here with all of the different arsenal that you have on this vehicle.
The stuff kind of found me, a lot of military, with dealing with friends and stuff, and then a local scrap yard. I found some shells and stuff, so it just kind of went from there. But yeah, it's very heavy in the gun theme, and a lot of people like it.
Congratulations to Sean Paz and his 2016 Rat Rod on capturing the Moonshine Sweet Tea Sweet Ride Award here today in Orlando. We hope you're enjoying the Menards Chevy Show from Ace Cafe Orlando, and stick with us because when we come back, we've got a matching number 67 Corvette to show you.
Menards Chevy Show is being brought to you by Custom Auto Sound, the originator of classic car OEM fit radio since 1977. Clamp Tight, the clam making tool. Borla, the world's most winning exhaust. And by Gen Y Hitch, towing made easy.
Welcome back to the Menards Chevy Show, coming to you from Ace Cafe Orlando. Now, the parking lot of this downtown destination, well, it's nowhere near as big as some of the racetracks we usually go to, but inch for inch, this could be the most quality-packed event of the whole year. With such superior machines, it can be a challenge to pick out our winners, but the next producer's pick was an easy choice.
Well, this is a 1967 L89, which they only made 16 of in 1967. So this car is pretty rare. It's a convertible with 2 tops. It's a 4-speed. It's red on red. And red on red is also a very rare combination in 1967.
Explain to the folks who may not understand what the L89 package is and how special it is.
Okay, there are 427 and 435 cars that have steel heads. There are L88 cars, which are more of a racing version with aluminum heads and one single carburetor. The L89 is the 435 car, triple carburetor with aluminum heads, which makes it totally separate from all the other cars. Today, this car in this condition is worth almost $300,000, and a perfect car is worth about $420,000.
Do you kind of feel sometimes like you don't even want to breathe on it?
Well, I love cars, and I don't have anything I don't want to drive. This is the car I drive hardly ever. And this is the first show I've ever brought this car to because I worry about it a little bit.
Our final award from Ace Cafe Orlando is the OPGI Original Award, and George Rich and his 1970 Chevelle SS are a clear choice for this honor. This 1970 Chevelle is definitely a prime example of what you can do on your own and the parts you can find to make it look like new. Tell us about her.
I bought her in 2011 at the Turkey Run and then just did a full restoration on it off the frame. Bought all new chrome, door panels, interior, motor parts, and it took about a year and a half to do everything.
Wow. You know, I hear a lot of stories about folks spending 5, 6, 10 years, but that sounds pretty good.
Yeah, I just wanted to get it all done at once, and I didn't want to buy a fully restored one because I wanted to know what I had, so I just started from scratch, and here it is.
What kind of condition was the vehicle in when you got it?
It was all together. It was a California car. It was rust-free, so I didn't have to change any of the body parts.
What about the paint colors and the interior color?
Yes, the paint is champagne gold, code number 55 from Chevrolet back in the day, and it was wet sanded and buffed after it was painted.
You know, when you're putting a vehicle together like this, even though you only spent a year and a half, were there anything that kind of gave you a fit on the fit and finish?
Well, on some of the chrome, it didn't fit right, and I ordered from Original Parts Group, and they had great exact replacement parts that fit good.
Yeah, you have a lot of parts on this vehicle that came from OPGI.
Yes, chrome, interior parts, motor parts, fuel tank, the original stickers that came on it back in the day.
And it looks like it just rolled out of the showroom. Congratulations to George Rich and his 1970 Chevelle SS for winning the OPGI Original Award here today at Ace Cafe Orlando. Well, that's all the time that we have for this week's Menards Chevy Show. You know, we really have enjoyed traveling all across the country to see how folks transform their Chevrolets, whether it be new ones, old ones, trucks, and everything in between. We hope you have as well, and we'll see you next time around for more of the Menards Chevy Show.